Welcome
Today is the
to
14th,
the
buddy.
April 14th meeting, 2022 meeting of the Hingham Historic Districts Commission. This meeting called to order as of 6:50 p.m. This meeting is being held remotely as an alternate means of public access pursuant to Chapter 20 of the Acts of 2021, temporarily amending certain provisions of the open meeting law. You are hereby advised that this meeting and all communications during this meeting may be recorded by the town of Hingham in accordance with the open meeting law. If any participant wishes to record this meeting, please notify the chair at the start of the meeting in accordance with MGL 3820 so that the chair may inform all other participants of said recording. We have a very long agenda. We're already a little behind. There's 7 items. There are only 3 voting members tonight. So it is a quorum. It is Carol, Daniel, and myself. Mary Ann is recused from 1035 Main Street, and Carol is recused from 721 Main Street. That's correct?
Yes.
So Mary Ann, I'll need you to vote for 721. Are there any
Okay.
other conflicts?
I have a question, Mr. Chairman.
Yep.
I know I don't vote because of my next door neighbor, but do I make comments? Or am I to just be silent?
I think Mary Ann has made comments on this one, so you can make the comment.
Okay.
Right, Liz,
Hi.
1035 Main Street.
You want me to just get started?
Yes.
All right, so I believe that you guys received the updated drawings. So I was just going to, bear with me, I'm so bad pulling up my screen, but I think I can do it. So,
There you go. Look at that.
right, that was quick.
Yippee.
So the first thing that I want to show is not this, but hold on. I don't know if I can. Well, all right. So originally in the first sort of rendering, you guys all saw that on the the east facing elevation, there were 2 windows down below and 1 above. What we've done to this new rendering here is we've lowered the ridge height on both sections, both the front 2 garage bays and the back one. We've removed windows on the east elevation street side that I just explained and replaced it with a barn doors. We've removed the 2 dormers on the right-hand side of the south-facing elevation. And we've also shrunk the windows on the dormer that's on the left side of the south-facing elevation. So overall, I feel like we've changed it quite a bit. I do like the way that it's sort of turning out here. Removing the dormers made it, I think, so that it looks sort of less like a house, which I know was a concern. Also, we're sort of we could go either way with leaving the 2 windows on the street facing side or putting the barn door. I would take your suggestions on that. But you guys have the plans, right? You have those to see,
Yes.
I believe.
Yes. I'm wondering, Dale, is it possible for you to put up 1035 revised plans? I think it says
Can you see
4.
those? Or are you still seeing the rendering?
No, you have to close out, Liz,
Hold on, I'm gonna get it up here for you.
and then Dale can. Hi, Dale. Okay, great. And so that's the site plan. And then if you could scroll down, Dale. Let's see. Dale, can you scroll down a bit? I think that this is the site plan, but we're not seeing the building plans.
Tracy, all I see is the title block.
It's Dale tonight.
We're only seeing the,
Title block, right?
yeah, we're only
Yeah.
seeing the title block.
Okay, so, Dale, let me see if I can help out here. Oh, there you go. Yippee, good work.
Yeah, so here you see the ridge height has gone down, so now it's overall 2 feet lower than the main house. And then this is what it's showing with the barn doors on that end. We just kind of figured that that might help make it look more like a garage from the street. Again, we're open to keeping the windows that were there or doing it this way. And then if you go to the south facing side, I don't know if you're able to do that.
Yeah, so if you can scroll down a little bit, Dale.
Oh,
Can you scroll down, Dale, a little bit?
so this appears to be the last page. Oh dear.
Okay, well,
I can share, I think I figured this out.
okay, that's good. Thank
Uh,
you.
This is
Dale,
good.
maybe
No?
she can share her screen then.
Okay.
Thank you. Good job.
Okay, hang on. Can you see this?
Yes,
All right, so this is the old elevation. Okay, so
Yeah.
this is what it used to look like. And now we would like to propose that it looks like this. So you can see on the left-hand side, those windows are, and that dormer are smaller. We've removed the dormers on the right-hand side. The overall ridge height, again, sorry, there's a puppy in here. The overall ridge height, again, is another foot lower. And we've changed the east elevation showing the barn door. So that's sort of where, hey, that's sort of where.
Better get mine going too.
Sorry.
They hurt each other.
So yeah,
Liz,
that's kind of
Liz.
where it is. Yes.
what kind of puppy do you have?
We have a Bernese Mountain Dog.
Oh, so cute. How old?
We just got her on Monday. Yeah.
My gosh.
Herbie, hey, sorry, he's
The dog barking on the computer.
So anyway, that's sort of where we are. And yeah,
Lizzie, can you pull up just so everybody sees it? There was the rendering that you forwarded to us that I think did a good job of showing how you've reduced the size and the massing a little bit.
yep.
I think that's helpful to look at.
Can you see this?
Yeah, that, and then there was one that was, I'm trying to think, there was one that showed it, I think, like more straight on,
Okay, hold on 1 second.
but those two, I found those to be helpful for picturing the sizing.
Yeah,
and-
yeah, hang on a minute. I might have to just.
While that's up on the air, may I just point out that the new faux barn door that's going to go on the street side,
Yeah.
if that's what you decide to do, you can also see the 2 garage doors going in, and then that barn door. There are angles where you see all of them.
Yeah, and we're, again, if we keep the barn door, that barn door on the front, we are open to keeping it the color of the trim. We're open to painting it the color of these doors, which is the color of our front door. It's on the list of approved colors. So again, we're like open to that. But is this can you see this, the elevation you were speaking about?
Not yet.
No.
No, it's just a small sliver. You may have to turn it off. and turn
Expand it.
on.
Okay, let me try. That one?
Perfect, yes.
Good.
Yeah, so that's it now updated. So yeah, I don't know if anybody has any comments or,
I'll comment as quite an improvement.
thank
over the
you.
last. I mean, I think you've really put some effort into this and you listened to what we said. Still sitting too far front. It should be in the backyard somewhere. Just my opinion.
Mine too, Carol.
That did make a big improvement.
Thank you. Yeah, I think we just sort of really wanted to try to keep it in proximity to our house, that it doesn't feel too far away. There is, I don't know if you guys spoke with the health department. The last that I spoke with them, they said that it was up to the engineer. The engineer told us that it's not up to what they would install now. So, we just don't really feel that moving it back and, creating more driveway through our yard is what we want to do. We're trying to like minimize the amount of kind of less grass that we will have, because although our property is 3 acres, most of our property, the half of that is wetlands and woods. So the grass is in the backyard is not as big as it sounds, knowing that there's 3 acres there.
Mr. Chairman, if I can speak, please.
Yes.
I just spoke with the health officer just not too long ago, and she has not yet received a stamped plan for your as-built septic. And so that makes it a little tough for us, because if we had that, that would help us tremendously, and we don't. So, I'm not sure what the commission wants to do about that, but we don't have that information as to whether, and then the other thing is, depending on whether this is on a slab or whether, do you know that, Liz, whether it's on a slab or is it got a kind of a crawl space underneath? Because that also,
Sorry,
I'm
go
sorry.
ahead. No, keep going. Finish your question.
It will also dictate the distance from the wetlands.
I think it's just a slab.
Okay,
I can verify that.
okay, that would be good. That would be helpful. So I just, I feel like we still don't have the information that we need. But thank you.
Do we have to push this off again?
I don't know. It depends on the commission. So, Mr. Chairman, what do you think?
Since Gary's here, why don't we listen to what Gary has? Gary, we're already running late.
Yeah, I have a very short presentation. I was in light of the hour and what have you, and didn't want to present anything we already looked at. Had some additional comments. So if you could, my presentation, Andrea, do you have it, or does Gail have it, or?
Actually, I'm going to ask Tracy to share it.
Hey.
Or we could share screen too with Tracy.
Yeah,
If you want to do it, that's
Have
fine.
Gary do it. I don't
Tracy
have it
has
on this
to do it.
computer.
You don't? Okay.
You
Then I'd
know,
ask.
okay, then I'll do it. Hang on. So Dale, if you can let me share my screen. Then I'll get it off of my, Tracy sent it to me off my email.
You're a co-host now.
Thank you.
Sure.
So let me get it off and,
Just to verify, it's all on a slab.
okay, thank you so much. That's helpful. All right, just a minute. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I'm sorry it's taking me a while, but I will get
Are you
this.
looking for the Cavanaugh site plan, the one pager?
No,
No,
thank
this is
you,
my
Gail. This
Gary
is
Thomas
something
presentation.
Gary submitted today.
Oh, okay.
So which, late today, which so hang on just a minute.
Tracy, do you want me to share my thoughts while we wait, or?
Yeah, that's good.
Okay.
We also have this on Mary Ann, can you put it on your screen if Andrea can't
No, I
find it?
got it. I've
You
got
got
it.
it?
Just
Okay.
hang on a
Right there.
minute. Patience.
So
Patience.
while you're doing that, Andrea, so Lizzie, I appreciate you definitely listened to the comments that we had last time. You guys did make an effort to reduce the massing. I think that there were the things that we were really focused on had to do with scale. And I think you've really addressed a lot of those, and then roof form and stuff like that. But I think the struggle we have now is sight and rhythm, right? And with the neighborhood. And I think, we've spent a lot of time talking about this. There's 38 homes in this historic district. 6 of them have garages or barn structures that aren't behind it. There's not a lot of precedent for it. Most of those are existing from what I could tell before the historic district went into effect in '88. But there is precedent for it. And I think in going back and reading meeting minutes from 2015, 1036 Main Street, and reading those meeting minutes, it seemed to be a similar situation where there was a septic system that prevented them from pushing the garage back further. And that was why the commission approved it. And reading through those meeting minutes, they went through a lot of angst that we have with our comments about putting it in the back and not having it in the front. So, seeing that precedent and understanding how that process went forward made a lot of sense to me, and was helpful. So I think, to piggyback on Andrew's comments, I think it's really helpful to have the information, like the other house did, 1036 did, saying that they actually had a septic system that they couldn't push it back forward to, and they couldn't drive over. And, that, I think that would go a long way to have that, in my mind, because, we're just taking it word of mouth. Not that it's wrong, but I think to maintain the appropriate steps, I think that's a crucial document to have. I do, I'm open to, comments from my fellow commission members on that point, if I'm an outlier on that, but that's where I'm at this point. I think you guys have gone a long way in the design. I just think that there's some formalities that should probably be followed up if that's why we're citing it where we are.
Yeah, or I'm not muted. Thank you. We tried to, I do like the way that it looks right now. I feel like the concerns last meeting seemed very focused on, obviously the massing coming down and it not looking like a house. And that was reiterated several times. So we really tried to work to make those changes. And so, by taking the ridge height down and removing the dormers and changing the windows on the east elevation to a barn door, I feel like it followed those requests. And I don't feel like, it doesn't to me look like a house anymore. And so, as far as where the location of the leaching field is, and the information that we have, and that, when I was talking to the health department, she said that she would defer to our engineer, and then the information that we have from the engineer, stating that it's an H20 loading system, but installed differently than it is installed today, and not, up to the same standard that they're installed today. We don't really feel comfortable then just putting a driveway over that. And again,
Mr. Chairman, could I start on some of my points while we're waiting for the graphics?
I think Lizzie was talking.
Or that, or we could share screen with Mary Ann. She's got the presentation. I brought it over to town hall at 2:00, so I don't know what the problem is on the technical side, but.
We've had technical issues all day and you just cut somebody off. Lizzie
Okay.
was in the middle of a statement.
So we, so anyway, I lost track of thought a little bit, but I think just keeping it in close proximity to the house. I understand, obviously the concern about moving it back. Again, it's about 70% of the building is behind the house. And I know at 1045 Main, And I know that their house is a little bit different because they have a slope down. It does overlap their house somewhat. It's not fully behind their structure of the main house. And so that's kind of what we were also looking at, as our neighbors, and theirs does look very nice. And so, I think moving it back so far then just makes it feel disconnected. And again, we already have a barn, so we're not trying to make another barn structure.
Yeah, the one thing about 1045 though is it's not in the historic district. It's, yeah. So I didn't qualify that as a precedent when I was looking through the houses that are in the district. I get your point, though. It is a direct abutter, but
yes.
Do you have it, Andrea?
Yeah, sort of. Hang on.
I have it. Can you make me a host, please?
Good, thank you.
Was that Dan speaking, Dan Clark, that I should make you the host?
Nope, Tracy.
Tracy Shriver.
It's Tracy Shriver.
Thank you.
So,
Should I start, Mr. Chair?
yep, go ahead.
Great, thank you. I didn't mean to interrupt people. I thought people were done. So if you could go back to the first sheet. Basically, I just wanted to start where we left off, that fundamentally the intact historical and architectural context is one of the primary characteristics that makes Hingham so attractive to home buyers. It's one of the four kind of pillars that we base planning on in the town. And we're very fortunate to have these historic districts. And the Liberty Plain Historic District was established in 1989 by town meeting and to manage change in the district, so the change would be consistent and contributing to the architectural scale in the district. So we had, in thinking about where things were after last meeting or at the end of last meeting, we were of the understanding that the commission had asked for a number of approaches or changes or submissions. One would be an updated site plan relative to the issue of location of the building and proximity to the streetscape, how close it was, how far back it could be. And our sense is that we didn't see a new site plan, so we're assuming it's basically where it was at last meeting. Our sense is still that it's in the front yard and it's really too close to Main Street, and we'd like to, we think it's still too large, even though we respect and appreciate some of the massing changes you made. We feel that it's still too close to Main Street. So we don't think that that the current submission is totally responsive to what the commission members asked for at the last hearing on March 24th. Yes, it's lowered the ridge, and yes, dormers removed, but and there's a simulated barn door on Main Street, but it's really a simulated, doesn't really have a function. So our question is, the barn as currently proposed has 4 vehicle doors, 3 on the south, 1 on the east. And so the question is that with the vehicle door in the existing carriage barn, there'd be 5 garage doors and buildings on the lot, on the property. And my understanding is the maximum number of doors is 3. So I was wondering, would the applicant consider eliminating the existing garage door, which, I wouldn't want to do because it's that nice existing garage that's in the backyard, or reducing the number of doors on this building, which would allow this building to be a little smaller. I'm thinking the area that's on the left side of the garage between the car and the stairwell. It seems to me that one could use that space for reduce the length of it by 8 or 10 feet, which I think would scale it down and would make it much more in scale with the district. And then the next sheet kind of illustrates the same thing in terms of the 4 doors. Could we make it shorter, keep the 3 doors on the south side, or put 2 doors on the south side and access the rest of the barn from the east door? Just an idea. And then I just showed basically the next slide was essentially the juxtaposition of the massing of the barn, where it's currently located, or it was located last meeting in March. Still feel it's too close in the front yard. And we feel that, the intent of the district is essentially to protect that sight line in that streetscape setback. And we were thinking that, as a compromise, we were thinking that maybe what we could do to keep the programmatic intent of the garage, could you place it further back on the lot line? This would allow the programmatic intent of the garage to be maintained and utilized, but it would push it back. And this is a sketch plan of what we were suggesting, which would put it in proximity to the barn or garage zone in the district is typically behind the house on, as Dan said, as in 30 of the 36 houses that make up the district. And yes, the changes in the front yard were done, with the exception of one, were done basically before the district. And also the one that's the exception at 1036 is about 100 feet back from Main Street. So it's still basically in the back zone. The house there is in the backyard too, but then again, that was a general store and a firehouse when it was originally built. So I just had a couple of questions here in looking at the renderings. I see there's a fence in the rendering. I didn't know if the fence is part of the application. It's along the north lot line. I've checked in with 2 engineers and the person who signed off on the Title V, and I actually saw when they installed this system way back in 1989. And at the time it was exceeded H20, and in discussion with the engineers, they said it exceeds H20 loading. And so that's kind of my feedback on that. And so the other question I would have relative to the foundation, I'm assuming, Lizzie, that you're probably doing frost walls on the perimeter, just a clarification. So want to factor that in, but I would basically ask for consideration, as neighbors, we understand the need to have a garage. We understand that and support that. Our perspective is really coming from the district's perspective. And we just thought maybe if you could entertain a compromise, push it a little further back. Pushing it back in the sketch that I had basically avoids the leaching field. You don't have to drive over it. So that takes that out of the question. And just as a thought, as a compromise between neighbors, is that something that we could consider, and could the commission consider it? Because as neighbors, we will be with us forever. So we just want to make sure that it works. And again, thanks for your consideration of my suggestion.
Thank you. Any other butters?
I'd like to say something, Mr. Chairman, if I could. From what I understand that Dan said about the statistics, there's only one building that's built, one garage that's built in the front post the 1989 district. And
that was the only one that's done recently that I could confirm, because it was done in 2015.
Okay. But it seems the preponderance of the barns and garages in the district are sited behind into the side of the primary house. And that was my main objection, that the garage is not sited back far enough and in a position subservient to the house. And I think your statistics kind of support that. I think at 1036 Main, they also had envisioned building a swimming pool behind their house. And so of course they didn't want the garage and the swimming pool couldn't coexist. So I think they pushed the garage back as far as they could, but kept it in the front. So I think it's a little bit different than the situation across the street at 1035. Just my perspective. I really, as Lizzie said, they have 3 acres. I would love to see it moved back so the historic Liberty Plain district is as pristine as can possibly be. That's just, I'm kind of a stickler for rules and regulations of regulatory agencies when it comes to buildings and stuff like that. That's all.
Okay. Any other comments?
Can I,
Oh.
or do I have to wait?
I just want to summarize because I think we have to move on.
Totally.
There's 3 voting members. Carol has stated she'd like to see it move back. Dan has issued his comments of wanting to, know for sure with an as-built on the septic to make sure it can't be driven over. Andrea said the same thing. So I'm not sure how a motion would turn out. We can continue this till May 22nd. I think your application goes to then, with the assumption that the health department would have that as-built information.
So I just have a quick question about
Yeah,
that, to clarify. So last time, so do you have to talk to the health department and then get the as-built? Because I have the as-built, but you guys didn't want that last time. You wanted it, I think, from them. So I just wanted to.
Andrew, do you know anything about that?
If I can say, I spoke with, what she needs now is a stamped plan. And she doesn't have that yet. She feels that Susan Sarney doesn't feel like she has what she needs to be able to assess the septic. So maybe you need to talk with her, Liz, and see.
But yes, that's what I did last time. That's why I said that I had spoken with her, and then it sounded like you guys needed to speak with her, and then I would have given her the plan, but nobody told me to give her the plan. So
I'm sorry. Well, then maybe you need to do that. Do you have a new stamped engineered plan?
I have the as-built.
And that's stamped
Yeah.
and that it's recently, what's the date? Do you know?
I don't have it like right in front of me.
That's okay. That's all right. Well, I think you need to talk to Susan. I think that's really important.
Okay. Yeah. I wish I had known this because I did talk to her before the last meeting. So I feel like this is another few weeks that I feel like we could have handled this before. But
Well,
yeah,
I'm sorry.
no, it's okay. I can do that. I just.
Okay. You've done a good job tonight. I really appreciate it. And I'm sorry that, we can't come to a resolution about that. But she does need a stamped plan. So I'm sorry.
That's okay. Was that something that I could have known in the last meeting or no? I'm actually asking because I don't know. I had that, so no one really mentioned that I should.
Well, I do know that Susan had spoken with PJ and said, I need a stamped plan. And
yeah,
so.
And we sent it to her, but she said she would defer to our engineer to for an approval.
Maybe, I don't know. You'll have to talk with Susan. I'm sorry. I can't speak for her and,
okay. Yeah. So do you need, sorry, just to clarify so that I don't not have what I need next time.
yeah, sure.
Is just talking to her and telling you that I spoke with her okay? Or like, what do you need? Because that's what I did last
No,
time.
I need her to.
Andrea,
to
can I make
ver-
a suggestion that the
Yes.
three of you just have a meeting?
Well,
Yeah.
I think it's easier than that. I think if you can I just need her to verify that she has a stamped plan. So it's your conversation with her that's important.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
As for the design, my few comments, I agree with Gary on the garage doors. I think that the planning board only allows 3 garage doors.
We can remove the front one.
So,
That was.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of that front one. I'm not into
Okay.
faux things.
Okay.
I don't think you would get a lot of support for removing the existing door on the existing barn. So
And
that
we
counts.
definitely wouldn't do that.
So that means that this structure would have to reduce to 2 doors.
Okay. Sorry, I'm just taking some notes. Was that something that we didn't know earlier on in this process?
I think that's a planning.
Yeah,
That's
it's
something
a
that the
building
planning-
department. It's a,
It's not a historic thing. It's just something I'm
No.
bringing up. Because I
it's
think,
a-
I don't know if you've gone to the planning department yet, so, or the building department yet, so.
No.
We wouldn't want to approve something that they're going to flag.
Okay.
So Liz, check with the building department.
Okay.
Liz,
Um,
may I ask you a question?
Yep.
Do you have a copy of our guidelines written by
Yeah.
the national? Okay. So you'd seen these before this got designed and placed on the lot, and
Like as far as the location or as far as,
the look of it, the mass of it, everything, site placement,
yeah, I mean, and
big
obviously,
manual of rules and regulations we have to follow?
yep, and we've reduced the size to meet those regulations, I think, right?
No. And also, it emphasizes a lot, the plainness of the structure. Any additional buildings on a historic district have to be in the, not back as in behind your house, but back. If you look up all the Main Street barns around, I want to say something to you, because I think this has gone on a long time, but we're really nice people. And under normal circumstances, we'd love to make the applicant happy and do what you want to do with your lot and so forth. But we're assigned commissioners, assigned to this commission to like preserve, protect, and defend the historic districts. And there are very strict rules that come from the federal government, which then had to be passed by the Massachusetts government and then had to be passed by the Hingham government. And I'm sitting here with them thinking, they've never seen these. Somehow we've missed getting these to you before you spend a lot of money on architects. I mean, my heart breaks when I think of what's already gone into this. And I love old cars, so, you've got my sympathy on all this, but it's supposed to be in the back and not look like a house. And I think you've done a lot to improve all that. But we seem to be going step by step by step. And I feel like this got missed, this whole book of regulations. And you're in a historic district because you've done things to the house and all that. I'm just worried that we haven't gotten the directions to you early enough to see. I see it a lot.
Mr. Chairman, can I respond,
yes.
please? Yeah,
We do have to
Carol,
move
you
on.
make a good point. I have to say, though, that most often I am visited by a representative of the project, and that person will say to me, "You think this is going to fly?" And so I have an opportunity to provide them with some feedback ahead of time that would prevent, multiple meetings. The other thing is that every design guideline is online. It's on our website and it's always available. But if I'm not approached ahead of time, I can't give that guidance. So if we just receive an application that is already in plan form,
Yeah.
it's, that opportunity has passed. We also offer the opportunity for people to give us an informal presentation for, a concept. And so that's another way that people can get a sense of whether we would approve something or not. So I just wanted to add that because I think that's important.
I agree. I just feel so badly for, we put them through so much. Now it looks like another meeting and, oh well, just trying.
So we'll continue to March 22nd, May 22nd.
Okay. I'm sorry that I didn't look at this correctly. And
Liz, it's not your fault. Why can't, maybe you can just if you want to give me a call in the office.
yeah, that's fine. I'm not like upset about this. I just want to make sure that I get you the right stuff. And, we had, Jonathan and Priya draw this for us. And We want to make sure that it works and that it looks nice, and I don't want to hold the rest of the night up. So I just think that I want to let everybody else get their stuff in.
Thank you. And Liz, please feel free to call me
Okay.
because I will be very happy to work with you. Thank you.
So much.
Next on the agenda, continued from March 24th, 111 Leavitt Street. There's Sally. There's Kristen. All right. Sally, are you presenting?
Yes. So first, thank you all for coming to the Godfreys last Saturday, who all showed up. I think hopefully by staking out the additions, it made it clear for all of you to see what we're proposing. Let's see if I'm hoping I can do this, share the screen this time.
Yes.
Okay, so see if I can do this. It'll come up. Oh, let's see. No, it's not sharing.
Ellie, if you click the green circle, you can make it fill up the whole screen, possibly.
Let me share. I had it all queued up and now it's not doing it. I'm so
That's
sorry.
all right. Sally, I think click the green circle. You
Which
see
green
that on the left?
I don't have a, oh, there. Okay, let's see if that'll,
See if that works.
I just have your, unfortunately, just your, I had everything up here, but let's see. Hold on one second. If I can, I apologize. This is not what
No, that's all right. We all have problems with this.
I can't seem to.
Another option is at the top of the screen, if you click on the view button, you might be able to say full screen view.
Let's see if I can pull this up. Well, you all have drawings in front of you, and I think I know them pretty well, but as
Sally, we
had,
can get this. We can get this up.
okay.
So,
I'm out of town. I'm just trying to learn to screen share.
oh, that's fine. So
It's
maybe Dale, can you give it a shot?
Sure, hold on.
Sally, you have to close yours out. Sally,
I closed it
close
out.
your,
Yeah.
okay, good.
Stop share. Okay, there we go. I'm able to pull it up. Mine just won't open. I'm sorry.
That's all right.
Before and now
We'll
it's
get it.
closed itself. But, there you go.
Yay!
So I think if you just go down to we talked about the site plan and how, the property is very long and narrow. And, when you went to the site, we talked about moving the garage, kind of flipping it around perpendicular to what it is so that they can actually get a view of their backyard right now, because they do have a lot of acreage that's kind of not visible, nor is it, especially usable, because you just don't look at it and see it. So if you scroll up, again, from the front elevations, you see that we are really not changing the front elevation, the right-hand top picture. We're leaving the dormers, the front of the house. The only thing we're changing is that left wing. We're adding 2 more windows, single pane, true divided light windows on the front with shutters to match the one on the left. And then if you keep scrolling up, on the top right, you can see that we are very tight to the ground. So that is one of the reasons we're having to raise the walls a bit on the new addition, because some of the ceilings in the house are like 6'5", which makes it pretty, pretty tight. So by being able to get a 7'3" ceiling, which is code, we're going to be talking about taking down that 2-story addition, but extending it to the back, making it longer. And then we'll be adding, so you can go up to the next.
So are there any changes from what we've seen?
No,
Okay,
I think
so-
everything that what you saw, again, this sketch shows the 3 windows. The 2 little hips are going to happen to the roof to kind of make that little gable go away that you see in the very top left of the cape. I think when you do this detail, you see it around town. It's a way to make the rear additions a little taller, but it really, I find it just goes away. You have to really stop and look at it to see them. If you scroll up the next sheet, this next drawing, you can see we've stepped the rear addition back from the main salt box cape, just to make it so you see the lines of the cape going through. We do have a small covered porch on that side because that's where the new mudroom is. I think most of us that own old capes, I have a 1787 cape, you don't really use your front doors. You use your little side doors. So to have a little covered place that they can put their Haunster's milk box, or the kids can stand and wait for the bus or whatever, is kind of a nice thing. And it is very open. It's not enclosed. It's just got 2 columns to hold up a little roof. And then if you go to the next rendering, this is the back. Again, we've stepped that first addition, 2-story addition, back from the side of the house, just so you really see the cape itself. Again, we had staked out those 2 additions. One on the left is more on a knee wall, and the one on the right is a 2-story. Again, neither of these have very tall ceilings. And then we've kind of put the stair hall, the new stair, which meets code, kind of in the middle, which you will never see from Leavitt Street. If you go to the next picture, again, this is what's existing. The whole cape remains. The left wing remains. The rear wing, just because we think it was a porch, the floor slopes tremendously. Even if we took it down, we need to raise the walls. So that's why we're asking to take that portion down and rebuild it. If you go to the next picture, that is the existing second floor. If you go to the next one, this is the new foundation. And if you go to the next one, you will see that, again, the main cape remains, the left addition remains, and these additions are really all to the back of the existing cape. And again, set off from the right-hand rear side by 18 inches. We have a bulkhead there that'll be shielded by landscape. And then we have this little porch that we're putting in for the mudroom that kind of follows the salt box shape, and just a little gable covered porch on that side. And if you go to the next slide, next one, again, second floor. The one on the right is the one that's on knee walls, and the one to the left is the master bedroom wing, and that's a 2-story with the stairway sandwiched in between. And I think that's, can you go to the next? I think that's it. Oh, and these are just the sections. So on the top section is the existing little saltbox cape and the addition that is happening now. What we're proposing is that it will hip back now, which I think makes it far less visible from the street when you're just looking at shingles versus this gable that's cut. And we're only adding about 1 foot to the roof height, just so we can get a 7'3" first floor, and something halfway usable on the second floor. Those 2 rooms in the back will have some volume, but they really are tucked behind. And I think if you go to the second sketch, if you back up to the SK 1.2, I think.
Sally, not to cut you off, I just have a
Yeah.
question for the chair.
Sure.
Can we just, go ahead.
I was just going to ask,
That one, right?
I just wanted to wonder if we're way behind on time. We have a lot of
Oh, sorry.
agenda. Can we focus on any changes or any information that's new from last
That's why I
time?
asked. I don't think there are any changes.
Sorry.
Yeah, because
No,
I just
nothing.
want to, there was one, I think we had 2 comments last time as a commission was, one was about the grade related to the new addition. I think, and the other members can correct me if I'm wrong, but visiting out there, I understand why the grade is where it is and why things are set where they are.
Yeah.
In my mind, the only open question left was there was feedback about minimizing the side entrance from being a focal point main entrance to maybe a lesser entrance. And was there any consideration for that, or was there any adjustments for that?
We did not look at it only because, again, it's the only little porch covered in the whole house. And I mean, we can make it smaller, but what would happen is it would come away from the end of the house. I mean, we can make it shorter from the back side if you'd like. It'll still be a little gable, but just, again, there's no covered place that you can come into the house and leave a package or something like that.
Yeah, I was thinking less, not saying that we need to remove the covering or having an
Right.
overhang. I think there's ways to do it that minimize the impact and the visual on it. Kind of looks like there's columns there, with it being a gable on, can you do more of a hip roof and minimize it? I'm just curious if there were other options. Could you cantilever it instead of having posts to support it and make it a little smaller?
It would be hard to cantilever it because you'd have to dig into the house to cantilever it. So we're trying not to touch the cape. We can certainly make it, smaller, just a little gable. That we could try to make it a hip, although there's really not any hips on the house. They're all gables. So that's why we thought it was more appropriate to do something that the only hips are happening from the cape in the, when it slants back at the roof. I think a hip would seem funny, but we certainly could make it a gable and make it shorter, and bring it back from the back of the house. It is covering a door that goes into the mudroom right now.
I'd like to add to it. I really hate to cover up any of the side of the cape. The other side of the house has already done that. On this side, I think the original cape needs to show. It's an old house. I think the roof line in particular, and I would put whatever door you want in the addition that's going on the back there. And I know it's a sunroom and you don't want to give it up and blah, 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 but I just can't vote to put a cover on that side of that old cape. It's already been covered up enough and you're going to have 2 big additions on the back. And the sketch even shows, I think it just changes the look of the old house. It gets kind of lost in all of this. I'd like to protect it and preserve it the way it is.
Well, I mean, a lot of the old capes had what we called coffin doors. My house does right across the street, a door just like this on the side of the house. So they're not unusual. We certainly could look at a different cover for it, to minimize it. But would you be willing to give us approval to do the 2 additions on the rear and come back with a new cover for that addition, the porch?
Why couldn't the door go into the sunroom in the addition? It's right next to it.
That's not where the mudroom is. I mean, the mudroom, there's lockers, there's a laundry room, there's a lavatory. So now you're coming into a finished room to go into a mudroom, which,
Is the mud, you mean, you're saying the mudroom's already in there?
we're creating, there's
Right.
a
Couldn't it be
little
created-
room, and we're creating, places for the kids to come in, drop their boots and things like that. And to come into a
Could
finished
easily
room.
go into that sunroom right behind it and leave the cape side just as it is.
Well,
Yeah,
what
so-
if we, what if we just took the porch roof off?
Yeah, Sally, to answer your original question, I'm comfortable approving the additions and giving you guys time to think about this and work on that. And I understand the need to get approvals and get started on projects, but I defer that decision to the chair.
Yeah, I think that's a good approach. If there's no other concerns on the additions and
The only other question I have is just to make sure we are including relocating the garage as part of this application.
yes.
Yeah. That would be nice if we could
Yeah.
do that. Mhm.
Any other questions from the commission? You want to make a motion, Dan?
Sure. Make a motion for a certificate of appropriateness for 111 Leavitt Street, located in the Lincoln Local Historic District Extension Phase 2, to demolish a rear two-story addition and a portion of the rear roof for two new two-story additions to the rear per the plans dated 28 February 2022, excluding the side mudroom entrance on the gable end of the cape. The application also includes relocating the garage within the parcel. Materials to include single pane, true divided light windows on the front elevation and wood simulated divided lights at the additions. Trim details and materials to match existing, and exterior color to be approved at a later date.
Is there a second?
Second.
Carol, how do you vote?
Aye.
Daniel, how do you vote?
Yes.
That's an aye for me. Certificate of appropriateness passes.
Thank you.
Sure.
And we'll come back to you with the porch.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thanks,
I
Sally.
love your 3D sketches, Sally.
Thank you.
Not many people do those anymore.
I know they don't, but we're still those old school, still hand drawn. Thank you. Good night.
Aye.
Next on the agenda, continuation from 324, 18 West Street. I don't know, is Thea here? Is anyone here for this application?
Hi.
Did you talk to the owner's rep, Andrea, or not since before last meeting?
Gosh, no. I mean, they've gotten notification. It's interesting. 18 West Street, I did not receive, I talked to the owner's rep, and I was supposed to have received a package of materials, which I never did. And I haven't heard from the homeowner. So, and she received the notification of the meeting, so I guess we'll have to vote to deny, and if she wants to reapply.
Yeah, I don't think we could have approved it anyway.
We'll just have to vote to deny, and then hopefully we can work with her.
Okay, so what's the process for that?
Well, somebody has to make a motion
Yeah.
to deny the application.
Yeah, I'll make a
And
motion to deny the certificate of appropriateness for 18 West Street, located in the Lincoln Historic District, to replace existing wood windows with vinyl replacement windows.
Seconded.
All right, Daniel, how do you vote?
Aye.
This is an aye to deny. It's a positive for a negative. Carol, how do you vote?
Aye to deny.
And that's an aye for me. All right,
That almost gets us back on the schedule.
almost.
almost.
Okay, next on the agenda, 721 Main Street.
I've made Susan the co-host.
Hi, Susan.
Hello.
Hi, yeah, Tracy, you there? It's Jeff Toccio.
Yes.
Hi,
we're
Jeff.
here.
Hi, everybody.
Jeff, are you the only one coming on tonight? I was
Excuse
hoping to meet my new neighbors.
No, they're actually traveling, but I think they're monitoring, Carol. So far, we'll see what happens. It's beautiful house. Jeff Toccio here for the Hines family as trustees, 721 Main Street. We got Susan Hoadley, who's here as well. And we're here this evening for some work that's proposed for the back of the home, which is the west elevation. We're all familiar with 721 Main Street. Just an absolute jewel of Main Street. And I know that Susan and I are both, we're excited to be involved. It's just such an iconic home. Second Empire, built between 1860 and 1864. You folks have, as part of the filing package, Susan had put together an extensive history of the home for your benefit so that you folks have that for the everlasting record, and also you can consult that when you're making determinations with respect to the home. What we're looking at is the house, which is there, obviously very prominent frontage on Main Street. And we're right now for this phase, we're in a position where the family has moved in. The house was on the market for about 4 years. Most of us know that it was operated as an art gallery. What a lot of us don't realize is that it lacked even a first floor kitchen. So the house is very odd, very peculiar, and it had an interesting time on the market where people looked at it for multifamily use. But what ultimately happened was buyers were just either intimidated because of the breadth of what it would take to restore the home, or trying to figure out if it had some type of multifamily use. Thankfully, and I'm editorializing now, the Hines family came in. You've got a family with children. They're looking to invest in the home. And what they need to do right now is to secure the home as a habitable abode for their family so that they can then embark on living in the home, and then they plan on making further improvements in the future. With that, what I'd like to do is I'd like to cut to Susan now. And you folks are very familiar with her. And she started with a view study, and we've put this together so that we can explain what is proposed. And hopefully, if there are any questions at any time, please interject. But Susan, if you could start with your presentation, that'd be appreciated.
Okay.
Great.
Thank you, Jeff. Do we have screen share ability?
Great. Thanks, Andrea.
Yeah. Okay, does everybody see an overall site plan?
Yeah.
We do.
Good. Well, good evening, everyone. Andrea, Mr. Chair, and members of the commission. My name is Susan Hoadley. I am principal at Hoadley Martinez Architects, and we are absolutely privileged and honored to be working on this incredible property. I mean, it's something we're taking very seriously and something we're enjoying. Frankly, Jeff alluded to the fact that we have a very, very exhaustive and solid understanding of the house and its sort of intermeshing architectural history and how that was affected by social history and all the different important occupants that have lived here. And I'm privileged to be working for the Hines because their concern with all the things that the commission is concerned with are aligned. And I'm hoping that my presentation tonight will show that the very first things that we need to do to get the Hines into the house so they can continue to work with the commission and others to perhaps continue to bring this back to life. The first step is to, as Jeff alluded to, alleviate some kind of fatal flaws with the house that could be easily alleviated and bring this into a habitable 20th century home. So with that said, what I'd like to do is just turn to this map right now. Everyone's familiar with the home, but I'd like to familiarize everyone with specific views so that I can hopefully illustrate that what we're proposing is very, very minimal in impact. So I'd like to start with the first view shed, number one, and that's looking up at a proposal that we're making to remove some non-original triple mold window units and replace it with a single window unit. And Karina, could you zoom in on, this is the view, not of the White House, but the one behind it is obviously 721. And that is the viewpoint from the street that you see of our subject area. And then I'd like to go to the second view shed, which is taken from number 2. We'll show where number 2 is. Yeah.
A little further to the north.
Yeah, a little further. And this is sort of coming in a little bit closer to this subject area that I just described. So let's zoom in on that so you can see what that looks like. I'm just trying to set the table for context really well here. Okay, so right behind that, there's a lot of shrubbery and a lot of overgrowth that blocks our subject area in this spot. But what we would be looking at is behind this brush right here. So that's area 1. The next photograph, obviously, number 3, is of the front of the house from the street. Nothing is proposed that's material to this elevation. The next elevation, and maybe we could just slide right over this way. This is from the corner of the property. This was the best viewpoint that I could get that wasn't blocked by brush. But I can also explain this more definitively in the line drawing elevations. But this is the side that you see. And if you go over to the next one.
So that was the northeast elevation, and this would be north, right, Susan?
And this would be more northeast. Okay, so what we're about to describe to you as a proposal is the realignment of one window here, right? Actually right here, and a small sliver that you will see from the vestige of a small bump out that's being proposed on the back. So with that said, I will then bring you to the next slide. This is our timeline. I'd like to just introduce it to you. The yellow describes the prehistory of the house or the Cushing family. In 1850, a half of a horse barn and a store and land was there. And in 1860, a 2-story mansard was built to outshine the Whiten house. And that was included in the Julius Loring narrative.
Great.
Okay.
Can you want to get to the reveal of the elevation?
Okay.
Let's go to either 10, 12, or yeah. Great.
Sure. Okay. So you guys can you can go through the history on your own. This is again the Main Street elevation. There is no material change on what you see from Main Street in a frontal way. What I'd like to do is go through. We have before on the top and after on the bottom, and we have a red dotted line that says work to be modified or removed, proposed work, and things that are proposed work that are not viewable from Main Street are shaded in gray. So with that key in mind, this is the front elevation. And this is the elevation from the south that I described in the very beginning.
Great.
What
Can I
we're
just jump in and
proposing.
ask a question real quick on this one?
Yes.
Seems pretty straightforward. The 3 gang windows, I thought I saw in here somewhere saying remove non-original triple mold window. Just want to make it confirm. That's this window, right? So you're taking out a non-original
Yes.
window and
And
going
we're
back to the
And we
Marvin.
will replace, yes, and we
Okay,
will
great.
replicate the trim to the rest of the building exactly, which doesn't happen now with the
Great.
contemporary
And then
intervention that's there.
Andrea, the west elevation, that's not in our purview because you can't see it, correct? There's no public way or anything?
That's right.
Okay.
Correct.
We jump to 1015 then. That seems to be the bulk of the work.
Yes, okay, so again, forgive my laborious description of the side, but if you remember the last two pictures, that's what you see when you come down Main Street from north going south. And what we're proposing is a new door is, if you look in the existing at the top, we're proposing to remove one of these banks of windows, which we are not sure to be original. We are then moving over to an addition, which we do not have a date on, but we've narrowed it down to probably sometime after 1940. So that this was just a utility appendage that was added later to add utility stairs. And the windows just sort of landed where they landed, okay? What we'd like to do when we show you the plan and what necessitates these changes, we're trying to regularize and order this elevation by simply replacing the windows with existing. Same thing too with, well, if we go underneath the porch here, this is a new door that is, it's a Marvin Ultimate door. All the trim would match the original door trim. Nino DeNuno is the contractor, and he has actually ordered planes to replicate the exact profile of what is there. And that is what all of the casing will have on it, even though you don't see it from Main Street. Then we propose to match the existing railings of the front of the house on the original and build a staircase that brings you from that porch down to grade. Moving along then, I just described the regularized windows, and the final piece of alteration that we're proposing is this very narrow side of this bump out. And what we will do, we will also replicate all of the casing that is on existing bay windows exactly. We are going to provide Marvin Ultimate true divided signature series windows there. And we are proposing that metal become Rhine zinc, zinc coated copper that looks like lead coated copper, because we believe that with a house this big, the more you can do that will last for the ages, the more this place stands a chance of being renovated and stewarded well in the future. So for that reason, we're looking to use very, very durable materials. And
Then we've also included the west elevation, which is, outside of, it's not viewable from anywhere. But it's all, entirely consistent with what you're seeing. The corners right there that we had seen from, that northeast from Main Street is what you see. You can see just the, the design follows through. The porch that's being removed is something that, while the bump out was post 1940s, the porch is just, it's out of view. And when you walk up and you see it, it's just a mess.
I think it's about 20 years old. Yeah.
It's lumberyard grade work. So Susan's done a good job working with the owners to come up with the plan of what we've got here. The footprint, the floor plan, could you pull that up, please? I think that's A103, Corinna. What's happening is if you actually take a look, you can see the kitchen, which is there in the northwest corner. Right now, it's just a back room for an art gallery. It's all shelves where they would.
There is no kitchen.
And then what happens is when it goes in, this allows for regularization of bringing light in through the windows, both on that northwest side. And then I think Dan picked up on that triple bank of windows, which was on the south side. That's going to be regularized down to just a single window. So everything's consistent with the, existing features of the home. All the quality is equal. And as Susan put forth, all the molding and finish will replicate the original, which you've got at the home. So with that, I'm going to take a look. You folks also have, you've got the historic content. I think that's fantastic. You'll be seeing further elements as the Hines family comes in here, they become situated. They've got different upgrades, which are in mind that we've discussed informally with Andrea. So those you folks can expect over the next half a year plus. But, a nice, slow, steady progression towards bringing this house, back to what it deserves as far as its grandeur and its position within the town. We're also going to, basically do some maintenance out front with respect to overgrown bushes, et cetera. But otherwise, I think Susan's gone through everything. We also have the tear sheets for those Marvin Ultimate windows. And I think that everything, as far as the spec that's been presented, is what what Andrea's counseled us on. So I think we should be in good shape there. And with that, we hope that we get a positive recommendation for the certificate of appropriateness.
One question follow-up I have, Susan, is in our cut sheets, we were given standing seam roof cut sheets. These would be for aluminum standing seam, but you had mentioned a Rhine zinc or mimicking lead-coated copper with something. So I'm just curious, is it meant to be these cut sheets, or those are
No,
three? I see
I
three
would
different things.
I would like to revise it to a Rhine zinc standing seam, and I can get you those specifications.
That's fine. I know what those are.
Okay.
The only comment I'd have is if you're trying to mimic lead-coated copper, tin zinc coated copper by Revere Copper is really the only thing that mimics lead-coated copper. Rhine zinc's a darker color.
It is, yeah. So tin zinc, could you?
It's called Freedom Gray. It's made by Revere Copper. That's the closest thing for a lead-coated copper.
Thank you.
Yep.
That's great. Look at that. Thanks.
Carol, you
I'm
said you might
thrilled. I'm
comment.
sitting here trying not to talk too much, but I am thrilled. I'm in the house right next door. I love taking the triple windows out and putting in one. I love everything you're doing. I do see the backyard when I'm in my gardens, and the back of the house has always been a mess. It looks like every 5 years somebody else added something else. And the new plan is beautiful. It's going to unite it all and look so much better. We're thrilled that the old acoustical room is going to be a bedroom now. That was built for, I think, one of her sons to play the guitar, and it wasn't acoustically correct. And we heard it all the time. So this is a huge improvement for us. I'm just thrilled. It's lovely. And I love the fact they're going to work on landscaping, and yay. Good job, guys.
Are there any other abutters? I don't hear any other abutters. Mary Ann, you would be voting on this. Do you have any questions?
I don't have any questions. I think that I sort of echo Carol's. I thought I like the measured approach to what they're doing, and great to see something restored to glory.
Thank you, Marianne.
Anyone want to make a motion?
Sure. I'll make a motion to issue a certificate of appropriateness for 721 Main Street, Glad Tidings Historic District, per the plans dated 28 February 2022, which includes removing a triple window on the south elevation and replacing it with a single Marvin Ultimate window. And additionally, replacing a wood window on the north elevation with a door, installing a new stairs and railings on the north elevation, removing 3 windows and replacing it with 2 that are aligned, and including a addition on the rear elevation, rear west elevation. And then do we want to a cut sheet for the new roof to be submitted to Andrea, or
Yes,
are we good?
I can do that. I'll do that tomorrow.
Okay. Work for a motion?
Is there a second?
Second,
Go ahead, Marianne. All right, Marianne, how do you vote?
aye.
Dan, how do you vote?
Aye.
It's an aye for me. Certificate of appropriateness approved, 3-0.
Excellent. Thank you so much, everyone.
Nice
you.
job. Nice
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Susan.
I
Take care.
appreciate your time. Thank you.
Great. Thanks, Tracy.
Mr. Chairman, I just want to say I'm really impressed, and I think we should all be impressed with Susan's submission. The work that she did on the history of the house is outstanding, and so I really appreciate that. And also, thank you, Jeff, for your diligence in promoting this and also promoting the historic significance of the house. Thank you.
Thank you,
Hope
Andrew.
Susan's on the historic district for whatever town she lives in.
Susan's in Cohasset.
But I live across the street, so maybe I could walk over. I'd love to be on your board if I could be.
That would be wonderful.
Thank you. I'll continue to
everyone.
appear in front of you.
We'll see you all again in the future on this house. It's exciting, and
Yeah.
it's going to be wonderful to watch it come together.
Yeah, it is. Thank you.
Thanks again.
Thank
Good
you
night.
all.
Bye.
Good
Happy holiday, everyone.
Thank you. Andrew, we're 3 minutes ahead. I don't know what happened.
Oh my gosh. We can get going. We can move.
All right. So next on the agenda, 15 West Street. Replace all existing windows with Anderson 400 series windows. We visited the site Saturday.
Okay, where are our proponents?
I see Michael.
Oh,
I'm
good.
here.
Michael and Susan, are you here?
I am.
Yay.
So I'm accompanied by my spouse, Susan. So we're both here.
Good. Nice to see you.
Okay. Do you have any presentation or any drawings, or we're just going to discuss the windows? You're replacing, can you just briefly explain the scope?
Sure. The scope is that, well, I think the story starts that we went and unfortunately bought all of the windows we want to replace. We went to apply for a building permit and learned that, to our great surprise, that the house was in an historic district. And so we're here to seek approval to replace the windows as described in the application. The replacement of the windows would involve the removal of the existing storm windows, which we do not plan to replace.
You're keeping the storm, is that what you said?
No, removing them.
Yeah. So these are, of the application saying true divided lights.
Yeah, that's actually a misnomer, Tracy. The Anderson 400s are full divided. They are full divided, but not true.
So is that the 3-piece?
Yeah, so that's has the IGU spacer bar, faux piece in the middle, and then it's got the grill on both sides.
And then are these vinyl clad or aluminum clad?
I forgot to double check that. I can check though.
They're not.
Well, I'm not technically proficient, obviously, but the description of the window is described in the bill of sale that accompanies the application. So it's equal sash, white exterior, pine with white, painted interior frame, standard grill attached alignment.
Looks like it's aluminum.
So it's aluminum clad on the
Full screen aluminum.
exterior,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and it's white. So I think the issue is we don't normally approve aluminum clad. It is a wood window, but some of these series put an aluminum cladding on the outside for maintenance purposes. We have been, on some occasions, approving the what they call the full divided light, which is the 3-part spacer that gives you the increased R value and energy savings. You verify that, Dan?
Correct. Yes, I did.
Glad.
Yep.
You stated you already purchased these windows?
Yes, they're sitting in the basement of the house. As I said, it's certainly entirely our fault. We went and, there's a long lead time for windows. We ordered them, they showed up. We figured out we needed a building permit. We applied for it and then learned that we had to appear before you.
And we were motivated for these windows because the heating bill is between $700 and $800 a month in the house.
Yeah, the only real issue is the aluminum clad.
So isn't the fact that we're going to remove the existing storm windows, which are pretty unattractive, mitigating factor?
Removing of aluminum windows or vinyl windows is always applauded. But generally we replace them with all wood windows.
I understand that, but well, here we are. We're we're stuck with these windows. If we can't use these windows, I don't know what we'll do, but we won't be removing the existing aluminum storm windows. And so it would seem that the general appearance of the property would be significantly improved if we replace them with the windows we own and agreed never to put storm windows back up.
They're not exchangeable if you haven't installed them yet?
I have no idea.
They are actually not exchangeable because they were specifically ordered to mimic the pane layout of each window. And the front one especially is an odd arrangement of panes.
So Andrea, are you here?
Yes, I am.
Any words of advice?
Well, I'm just wondering, if perhaps there would be a willingness to maintain the front windows so that, and the other windows could be the replacement windows. I don't know. The front windows could be restored perhaps, or replaced with a wood window, but it would be the front facade. I think that would be a possible compromise if that works for you.
Well, in the end, we'll do what you tell us to do. I was hoping that our agreement to remove the existing aluminum exterior, storms, which are certainly not historically appropriate, would be enough of a mitigant to provide what I gather is an exception. I apologize for being before you under these circumstances. It was purely ignorance on our part. But here we are. If you,
Yeah, I don't think any of us assumed there was ill intent. The issue that we are in is what's to keep the next person from, you inadvertently ordered windows, what's to keep the next person from just going and ordering them. We have to be careful not to set a precedent.
right, but am I right that we're under no obligation to remove the existing storms?
No, historically, the storms usually remain because we, up until recently, the only like true divided light was a single pane glass, and you needed the storm for the additional R value. Personally, I think that's a little strange, but I'm not a big fan of storms. So I do think it would be an improvement. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm seeing at least 6 front windows, not counting 3 on the little side addition here.
So my point is, I think that the windows we acquired installed with the absence of the storms will be vastly more attractive than what's there. And so that's, but we obviously have to do what you think is appropriate, and I'm not seeking to establish an adverse precedent, but I think the condition of not having the storms is a significant mitigant.
Yeah, but if we would be approving windows that were all wood, you would not put the storms back on anyway, because it would be the storm is trying to increase your energy efficient. Any new window is going to improve your energy efficiency. So it's not fully a trade-off. I do understand where you're coming from. And, I totally sympathize. I get it. I'm the representative for somebody that lives in a historic district. And so I totally put myself in your shoes, having just renovated a house. I can definitely get comfortable with the compromise that Andrea suggested, which is to keep the main facade of the house wood windows and allow all the other windows to be aluminum clad.
Well, as I said, we're clearly subject to what you're willing to do, and appreciate any consideration. We unfortunately own, and I don't believe because they were custom built to mimic what's there, we'll be able to exchange what we have. So that's where we are, and I would appreciate any consideration that you can give in light of these circumstances. The house is quite ramshackle. We intend to
Is there any understanding?
basically restore it to good condition. And we, I believe the house will be less of an eyesore to the neighborhood when we're all done, by quite a degree. It was occupied by an elderly woman whose family let the exterior go to rack and ruin. We will not leave it in that condition.
Is there
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
I'm back to my same concern again. Did you know you were in a historic district, but didn't think windows were included, or did you not know you were in a historic district? Or
We didn't know we were in a historic district until we went to apply for a building permit to put the windows in.
okay, thank you.
Is there any understanding of what pieces of the house is original? Like, is that front entry sequence original? I mean, it's obvious there's been a handful of additions over the years.
We don't have any sense of the architectural evolution of the house. The rear of the house has sort of a shed studio stuck on the back because the prior resident was an illustrator.
Yeah, I don't think we're as concerned about the back, but Andrea, what if there was a motion to replace the windows with these 400 series, except for the front, and either do some additional due diligence, like skip the front windows altogether, try to find out it's really hard to tell what piece of this house is original. Even that front dormer could have been an addition.
Sure.
But try to find out what was the original piece, if there's any resale or return value to the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 front windows that I'm seeing here, and then just look at the front in a separate application.
Well, we can deal with it in a separate application, or we can deal with it in this one and just authorize the replacements in all windows except for the front.
Okay.
And then, as you suggest, we can do some more, find some more information about the front of the house.
So just, I don't want to further be adverse to what we're supposed to do. The front facade includes a little piece stuck out.
No, we're just talking just the 6 windows, the 4 on the dormer and the
4 on the dormer and these 2.
Yep.
Okay, but the ones on this little addition in the back, you're not considering the front.
I don't. I have to assume that that's an addition and not part of the historic.
This one, the one to the left of the door looks like it would be a custom window.
It was a custom window, as I say. It's sitting in the basement of the house.
That's what I'm
The
saying.
one, the Anderson 400 one that last week.
It's hard to tell what was original because I could see this whole entry being an ad. I can see this dormer being an ad.
Yeah.
In which case it could be down to one little window here. That's not.
Yeah, I think you're right. So if, as you suggest, we could make a motion to approve the replacement windows on all the facades, with the exception of the front, and then do the additional research necessary.
So we would for now, we would hold on these 6, do some research between now and May 22nd.
Yeah.
Back for those final 6.
Can I add one to that on the side? There's that, thinking of Catherine's voices in my head too. There's a window on the side that I remember. If you zoom in right there. Yep.
This one?
On first floor.
This one.
That one.
Oh, yeah.
We're not changing that one.
Okay.
That's
so
our
that's
favorite window.
That's the only gracious part of the house.
Okay. That makes it easier then. So just the front.
So,
That's
and
great.
I assume you will do some research, and we should also do some research to figure out what we can find about the original house.
Yes.
I could believe that the dormer, the little piece stuck out with the custom window, and the entryway were all added at some point, but I obviously don't know. And I appreciate your consideration and your willingness to bifurcate this as we do more research.
Yeah, and a good telling point could be looking at the foundations.
And when this became a historic district, somebody did a little research on that. It should be written up.
Yep.
Historical Society, or maybe Andrew has it.
No, the society wouldn't have it, but we would.
I'm happy to make a
Right.
motion for a certificate of appropriateness for 15 West Street in the Lincoln Historic District to replace the windows excluding the front elevation with Anderson 400 series windows.
I would just clarify, it's these 6.
6 windows, yes, sorry.
Is there a second?
Second,
Dan, how do you vote?
Aye.
Carol, how do you vote?
aye.
It's an aye for me.
So will we be on the agenda for your
May
May
22nd.
22nd?
Yeah.
Yes, you will.
Yeah.
Excellent. So thank you again for your consideration.
Thank you.
And if you could, yeah, I would,
we'll do what research we can about A, exchanging some of what we have, and B, the history of the property.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
thank you.
Good night.
Night.
Ah! The Ippolitos are next.
Okay.
Hello, I'm Jay.
North.
Hi, Jay.
Hi, Andrea.
Can we see your face?
Yeah.
There you
Yeah.
Ah,
Hi.
aye.
I don't really have my Zoom etiquette down. You all have nice backgrounds and things, but I'm just in my messy
No.
office, so.
are. That's okay.
I
That's
like your
fine.
background. That looks great.
Okay, so do you want me to start?
Yes, can you
Okay.
share your screen?
How do I do that?
Oh, never mind. We'll do it.
Thank you. It was the first thing out of my mouth was going to be, if I have to share my screen, I'm sung.
All
I
right,
just set this computer up yesterday, just for this meeting. Brand new out of the
Oh,
box.
brilliant. Oh, you're so good.
I
Miss
needed it anyway.
Miss Dale,
I'm here.
can you do that for
Absolutely.
323 North?
Yes.
Thank you so much.
If I did share my screen, would I have had access to all the submittals that oh, good, beautiful, excellent. Okay. So would you like me to begin?
Yes.
Okay, so we've already installed the fence that we're coming before you for. It's the property is 323 North Street. We're in the Lincoln Historic District. We've put a fence in the front yard, as you can see by the plot plan. North Street, you can see is delineated north on the bottom there. And I've put in black letters where we put the fence in the front yard. We have a wall out front, which was approved years ago. And on top of the wall, we have a play school at the house, and we have for a number of years. And we felt that we should put the fence up more for safety of the children than anything else, especially during pickup and drop off. But of course, we want to stay as close to historical aesthetics as we could. So I went forward. Of course, we wanted a different fence, but after looking at some of the photos in the books, and I have every Hingham book you can have because I love the history of the town. My wife grew up in this house, and her family's been here for 150 years. So we're really in tune with trying to keep a historical perspective. So we went ahead and installed a fence, and fortunately, and I knew I was in a historic district, but I thought as long as I was putting in something historically correct, that would be okay. And then Andrea alerted me that we needed to go forward, even though they had started to put it up. We need to go in front of you folks. So I put together the package with all the requirements and submitted it to historic. So you can see the fence really wraps two sides of the yard, really the south side and the would be the west side of the house, of the front yard, with a little return on the east side. You can see the Armstrong fence, the builder has his, I've submitted his proposal In the proposal, I did realize that I thought it was all cedar. I realized that they were installing pressure treated posts. So after speaking with Andrea, she thought it'd make sense to have them removed. So I went to the fence guys in the middle of the project, told them to remove the pressure treated posts and to use cedar posts. So now the whole fence is made of cedar. It's 42 inches high and it has 2 gates. There is the proposal doesn't show the change of cedar posts, but the final bill, which is the last submittal G, there is a table of contents. It's the very last thing I submitted was the invoice that showed the additional cost to change out the posts for cedar. You want to take a look at what the fence looks like, or do you have any questions about the location?
Looks good.
Okay, so sorry that's sideways, but that's the fence looking south from inside my yard.
So when did you take these photos? Because I'm also looking on Google. I can see the front and it looks painted white. And all these photos, it's still the cedar.
It's not painted white yet.
Oh,
I was going to.
Was there a gate at the top of the steps before?
There was a gate. It was a gate there.
Okay.
Because
That's
we have some granite steps that lead down
Yeah.
to the driveway parking area. So it was a very much a safety issue not to have a gate at the top. So we've had a gate up at the top there for, gosh, 15, 16 years.
Okay. So you've had the gate, but you've replaced the gate and added.
Oh, yeah, the gate's replaced. Yep.
Gotcha. Do you plan to paint the fence or keep it?
I was going to paint, or actually I was going to stain the paint of the fence white.
Okay.
You could, if we proceed through the photographs, you can see additional photos taken from the inside of my yard facing out in all directions. And I also have photos that show pictures of the fence from outside, from North Street side, from my driveway side. I didn't paint it yet till I wanted to go through the process with you folks and before I did anything else.
I love the historic photos. They're beautiful.
Oh yeah, I've got some photographs of the actual property 150 years ago and the fences that were used. And that's what I kind of based my design on. That in some of the other fences in town that were similar.
The fence looks a little more sturdy than some of those historical.
It's definitely more sturdy, but it's a close representation. There are some fences even that matched that way back that have the rail cap across the top of the pickets. And I found some photographs also that I did not submit, but also have the post caps.
Oh, look at that. Yeah, talk about F.
Well, that's I found. Oh, well, it's a long story. I'll make it short. So the house that you're looking at there is my neighbor's house on the left. That was the home of William Hudson. As you know, that was one of the early photographers here in town. And I come to find out that his brother, who built my house, William Hudson, Augustus Hudson, who built the house the same year he was married. So he probably built it for his bride, which is kind of cool to think about. But they were brothers. I looked for years. Knowing that William was a photographer, I looked for years to find a photograph of these two houses together. And it wasn't until about 10 years ago when I had given up. 10 years ago, I had given up trying to find a photograph. I went down to the Historical Society and went through the archives with their archaeologists, trying to find the original of these pictures or the glass plate of these pictures, and actually ran across an old photograph of the two houses together, which I did not submit, but it's hanging right here next to me. It's it was a very exciting day for me. I was really thrilled. But sorry to get off the subject. But you can see the fence here in these pictures on F. That is actually William Hudson, who lives in the house behind him, standing in his brother Augustus's, my front yard, standing in here, taking the photograph of across to our town brook when there were no trees. If you advance the photos, I think you'll see some other examples of this again. So the photograph at the top of number 3 there, that is, they say that was the picture he was taken when the picture was taken of him, but that's incorrect. The book says that, but it's wrong because he was standing in my front yard, which is beyond that fence. So he actually this picture was taken from William's house, not from Augustus's front yard, which is where I live. But you can see the fence, the similarity in the construction of the fence. Just some examples from around town. I did want to just represent the rail cap on the Constitution Fire Station. You see that that strip of wood you see in front of the fence is from a hitching post or something in front of it. But you can see the spacing of the pickets, the width of the pickets, and the rail cap that has. And then right below it, there's one over by the Old Ship Church that also had a similar construction.
Any questions from the commission? No? Any
Mr. Chairman, I just want to ask Jay, did you mention already that one of the reasons for putting up the fence is that Bernadette has a daycare there?
Yes, I did mention that when we first opened up, that we wanted to do it primarily for the safety of the children, but I want to keep it low profile. So that's why we only made it 3.5 feet tall. And I wanted the construction to match as closely to historical images that we had. But it is primarily, it's to keep the children safe in the front. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Right.
And the intent is white stain.
White stain, yep.
Okay. All right. If there's no comments or questions, does anyone want to make a motion?
Make a motion to issue a certificate of appropriateness for 323 North Street located in the Lincoln Extension Historic District for a previously installed fence with cedar posts to be a white stain finish.
Is there a second?
Seconded.
Dan, how do you vote?
Yes.
Carol, how do you vote?
Aye.
And it's an aye for me. Certificate of appropriateness. Motion
See you
passes.
back for future matters, though.
Excellent, thank you. Yeah. Well, hopefully next I'm going to get to my windows, but boy, I know not to get vinyl clad windows after that last session. No, I'm looking forward to getting some nice wood windows to match the style we have, and we'll get that going as soon as we can. Hi, Carol. I wanted to say hi.
Hi, Jay.
I haven't seen you in a long time.
I haven't seen you in ages. You haven't changed a bit.
And thank you. Neither of you actually look younger.
Oh, there you go. Okay, I approve.
And that was even after your vote.
That's right.
I say my comments till afterwards, of course. In that house on Main Street next to you, that is my favorite house in town.
Beautiful.
I loved watching those photos. Was it the Hineses that have that own that home?
Yeah.
Yeah, what a beautiful house that is. I love that house.
Gorgeous.
I'm glad that treating it.
Can't wait to have good neighbors in there. We've been alone for a long time up here.
Yeah, nice. It's nice. Andrea, thank you so much for running the share my screen aspect of this. I'm going to learn how to do that, but
well, we have to thank Dale, our helper tonight.
Thank you, Dale. Thank you. Thank you all very much for your time. I do appreciate it.
Thank you. Good night.
Good night now.
I don't know how we're running ahead of schedule.
Is that amazing or
We're all
what?
getting hungry, that's what
I
it
was
is.
gonna do backflips, so we were done by 10. We started 15 minutes late.
You're on a tight
All right,
ship,
so we're
Tracy.
5 minutes ahead, so I don't want to do a song and dance. Let's see if, oh, wait a minute.
Have you heard from them at all or no?
I have heard from,
Else on that.
let's see, I've heard from Susan Sarney from the Board of Health, because that was the reason we put them on last, because they had to visit the Board of Health, 35 School Street at 7 o'clock. And so she sent me some information. They will need to come back before the Board of Health. So we're just waiting, and so once again, I can sing, I can dance.
So, Andrea, if they have to go back to the Board of Health, that means they're probably gonna have to change something. Does that mean that we should wait and see what they have to change, or?
Yeah.
Well, I think that would be when we get a chance to talk to the architect. I don't know whether the changes will impact the exterior or not. So we'll just have to see what he has to say. So,
All right. Well, while we wait, I have a question, and I know we're soon approaching summer, so maybe we wait to the fall, but I started doing some research into what other towns require and do for certificate of hardship. So I think it would be good to have a meeting, non-agenda meeting. I forget what we call it, a business meeting or something.
yeah, sure.
But I'm not the chair, so I don't know if Tracy wants to.
Yeah, I think that would be one thing to discuss. And another thing is, I think it was you who noted, like Nantucket almost has a prescriptive method, so before you joined, we all did a bunch of homework on windows, and what we could approve and what we thought was appropriate, and we tried to educate ourselves with new materials. It seems like that's changing all the time. These Norwood windows that 35 School Street
Yeah, really nice.
proposing, I hadn't seen before, and that's one of the nicer windows I've seen.
Mhm.
And then it gets us out of some of these. The window conversations are like the toughest in the 3 years I've been doing this. Fences are second toughest. And then some of these big additions just like fly through.
Yeah, same thing. When I was going through the certificate of hardships, I was looking at some other towns, and yeah, I think it would be good to, I don't know if we want to take it on before the summer or maybe have an initial one. I know a lot of people are probably going to be gone for a lot of the summer, so something to pick up later maybe.
Yeah, it hasn't come up much, but now it's come up twice in 2 months.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true. And it's an interesting, well, I don't want to get too far into it, but it's very difficult because certificate of hardship is usually financial, which is
one of the things I found in there that was interesting actually was, I didn't realize this, unlike the other certificates we issue, that certificate is for the individual, not for the home.
Oh,
yep.
So if we approve something and then another homeowner comes in and changes it, they don't get that benefit. So anyway. good to see
Yeah.
you.
Hi, Maggie.
Hi, everyone. I'm sorry we're coming in on 2 wheels.
That's okay.
We had
Where is
quite a Board of Health call. So
yes, I know. And where is Chris?
Chris is driving. He should be here any second, but he's
Okay.
to get back to his computer, so he might be another 10 minutes or so, 5-10 minutes. But
Okay.
I'm happy
Do you
to
want to fill us in on what happened at the Board of Health?
Well, we're gonna have to make some modifications because the room count is,
But that they're all interior.
They're all
modifications.
interior, yeah.
It's a matter of adjusting openings within transitions from hallways to rooms and reducing some of the baths from full baths to half baths. And so it's all, I don't think any of it impacts.
Oh, it shouldn't impact the
exterior.
exterior at all, but we're gonna get rid of that office and open the casings, the door frames to 5 feet in a few spaces and just some
Right.
things like that. So do you need to know more of the details on the interior or?
Not the interior. I think it's 6 feet though, so just double check that, not 5 feet.
We'll double check.
Yeah. Was it 6?
Yeah, we don't need it. If we're concerned about the exterior, so if
Yeah.
nothing is, if there are no changes in windows or doors,
I think the main change from our last discussion is the barn. I think.
yes,
And that was where reducing the footprint of the barn overall and moving it away from the side where the driveway is located, more toward the center of the lot.
Mhm.
But in the very back, it's still in the back, oriented toward the corner, but it's now reduced in the dimensions. Chris will have details on that, but
sure.
so I think that's the one substantial change. I don't know if anything else was changed. I don't think so.
I don't
As
think
far as
so.
Chris's,
Did it change from what we saw on when we were there?
Yes,
Not, well, on Saturday, the stakeout
the
was
stakeout is where,
correct.
that's correct. That's where
Okay.
it is. And that's,
oh, it is. The change,
That stakeout is correct.
that stakeout is correct, but that was a little different from our earlier discussion.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, the barn kind of staked around the tree. You can
Yeah.
see the tree on the site plan.
I know.
Yeah, we were hoping to keep the tree, but I think the tree will probably have to go. But yeah, otherwise we shrunk the barn by at least 2 feet on one end. And again, we have
In both dimensions, it's smaller now.
gabled facing the street. And then the garage doors now will be along the side that you can't really see. And I can see Bev's here, Vernon, our neighbor. So the garage doors will be facing her on the right side.
Yeah.
And the dormer, shed dormer will still be to the south, looking over the opposite direction. Oh my goodness. Wait, just chaos here. I'm sorry.
Can we go ahead and approve it plan tonight?
If I may say, I just want to say I approve of the relocation of the garage. I really appreciated them doing that because for us, it gave us open space beside us. We are a very narrow strip of property at 31 School Street. I'm Bev Vernon from 31 School Street. And I just appreciate working with Maggie and Joe and their communication with us and how much they do consider us as neighbors and what their plans have been. So thank you guys for working with them.
thank you, Bev. So gee, we're just waiting for Chris. We can do a song and dance again. Anybody want to sing?
No, I'm sorry. He's just.
That's okay. No, he's got to get home. So, that's understood. So, Mary Ann, have you found a doggy yet? Mary Ann's looking for a new friend.
A soulmate.
A soulmate.
Not yet, but we're still thinking about it, still talking about it. Self to self.
That's great. And do you have your puppy with you, Maggie?
Where'd she just, yeah.
And she ran off.
Oh, yeah, she ran off. I thought, yeah. I know, Marianne. I don't know what you're going to think about. She's got a lot of energy.
Maybe it'll be contagious. That would be. I like spirited things, you know?
Oh, she'll do that. So, yeah.
Are we
Yeah,
gonna
that'd be
get to
great.
see
We'd
her?
like to see your little friend if she's
Yeah,
there.
yeah, we're together. I don't know what happened here. I think you, so. I know, I'll give you a tour of our empty house here. And we're gonna move over to the other place probably tonight. So, yes, we'll see. But otherwise,
I'm sorry, what are we waiting for? I missed something.
We're waiting for Chris, the architect, because he's going to probably.
let me ask him, because I don't know what, I mean, I'm not sure what else he's gonna say or do, so I can give him a call quickly.
Okay, that's good.
If
That'll
you,
be
I don't know
helpful.
if you need more, that's the other thing.
No, we
Okay.
saw the house. We saw the markers. We
Okay.
have the plans. Why can't we vote?
I don't know, Mr. Chairman, what do you think?
Sorry, I was muted. I do have screaming kids in the background. I think my only question is, personally, and I don't know how others would feel, I'm not sure what the advantage is of installing the single glazed windows on the front, because they think that's what the commission wants, and then having, matching but simulated divided lights everywhere else on the house. When we were there, I asked about the possibility of restoring the front windows, and I was reminded that they weren't planning on just keeping one on each side of the door, but replace it with two on each side of the door. So, but I think I would be open. I don't know which window they're leaning towards. I thought that Norwood window was a fantastic window. I have no idea what it cost. But I would be open for the sake of consistency of them all being the same, and not deal with the single glaze in the storm, even though that Norwood storm is the nicest one I've seen.
I agree, Tracy, 100%. It makes more sense in this application to keep things consistent.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
So
Oh, Chris is gonna be on in just a minute. He was just.
Okay,
So.
thank you.
You have some-
And so the windows, the Norwood windows would be on the front and on the side also, or?
Yeah, consistent.
Hey, Chris is
We're
here.
just recommending that you use this, either the Norwood, or I forget what the other one was that you had in the application. It was
I think it
either
was
the Marvin.
Yeah.
Just use one window type for the entire project.
Hello, Chris.
One window type would be the intent, yes. We'd like to have a choice if that was possible.
Chris, we've made you the co-host so you can share your presentation.
So I'm glad I didn't get a speeding ticket racing here from Town Hall. And
Maybe you
can
could summarize for us the,
So is the health department doing live meetings?
yeah, they are.
You don't, I don't know that you want a full summary of it. It was pretty.
No, I'm on Zoom like 6 hours a day. So
Yeah.
I'm dying to get out from in front of a Zoom camera.
So this is the revised PDF. We have changed the barn, which you see on the site plan here is revised. So the site plan is no longer exactly accurate, but the stakeout that you saw on site was accurate, or is the current word. This is a better representation of how we changed the barn. So the garage doors for the barn will be on the side, the north side of the barn, which is the bottom of the page here. And the gable will still be facing the street or facing the back of the house, and it'll have a single barn door on the first floor under the gable. The floor plan of the house, for purposes of HDC, has not changed, but for purposes of Board of Health, it will change. The elevations of the house are the same, but you can see the barn ghosted behind the house. That's the position of the new position that was staked out that you saw the other day. I'll just jump right to the barn. The barn has shrunk. This dashed black line is the previous footprint that was presented, and here it is now. So it's 26 by 24. Previously, it was 26 by 30. You can see the two overhead doors on the right-hand side and a single rolling door on the gable end. In elevation, on the right is the street-facing elevation, and you can see the red line represents the profile of the previous footprint in both the gable and the side.
And what is the height now? Is it on there? No.
The height is not on there.
The height of the garage?
Let's see, 10, 14, about 22. I can get that to you if you want the exact number.
That's good.
Here are the windows. So our two window choices. We'd like to get prices from two companies. This is why we're showing two. And I think that both of these are good solutions. You saw the Norwood insulated glass window. You saw the Marvin single pane or single glazed true divided light option, but they have a similar product to the Norwood, so that's here. So we're proposing insulated glass all the way around with 5/8" mutton bars, spacer bar, and a putty profile on the exterior, which is what you saw on the Norwood sample on site. Marvin has the same thing, 5/8" wide, putty profile on the exterior, insulated glass with a spacer bar.
And you'll just go with the best price?
Probably.
Yeah, so, but Chris, what you missed a little bit of the conversation before. What I was suggesting is, last time it was presented single glazed on the front, true divided light through the storm. And what we're saying is use the same window everywhere. So you use the simulated divided light on the front as well.
Yeah, that's what I got that feedback from reports from your site visit. So that's what we're proposing. One type of window all the way around. And here on this sheet are the two manufacturers or two suppliers of that type of window.
Okay.
And that is, in a nutshell, the edits that we've made since the last time we spoke. And I don't know if you saw the gutter. That was that aluminum extruded gutter. For me, was a real revelation. It was a fantastic product, and I'm not sure if you understood the subtlety of it. And it is an exact copy of the antique Boston pattern, not the new Boston pattern. And it's a really interesting product, and I was really thrilled to see it.
Yeah, it was impressive.
So it's not the same profile as the fiberglass gutters that a lot of people use. That fiberglass gutter is the new Boston profile. It's got a tighter radius on the lower edge. And this aluminum product is an exact duplicate of the old cypress gutters that you see on the antique houses. And I've got it here overlaid on an antique Boston pattern, which is on the house now. So it's virtually identical, which is really interesting.
The main difference is it's a smooth exterior. You don't get the wood grain.
It's smooth. Yes.
Yeah, and the fiberglass fakes that wood grain.
Yep.
Okay.
So the edit to the window schedule. So before we had two different kinds of windows. These were previously listed A through D, previously listed as different kinds of windows. Now they're the same. Simulated divided light, insulated glass.
All right. Any questions from the commission?
Yes, what's the height difference between the original house, peak of the roof, and the addition you're putting on the back. Is it bigger, taller than, or the same?
Same or less than.
Okay.
So you can see here, this is the ridge of the existing house, and we're gonna match it coming back. So it will not be higher than.
All right. There aren't any more questions. Someone will make a motion.
Make a motion. I'd like to make a motion for to issue a certificate of appropriateness for 35 School Street located in the Hingham Center extension for 2 additions, one to the east elevation, one on the rear south elevation, and the new construction of a 2-story barn per the plans dated 13 April 2022. Materials include asphalt shingle roof and EPDM roof, white cedar shingles and clapboard siding to match existing, simulated divided wood windows, either Norwood or Marvin, and an aluminum gutter that replicates the existing wood gutter profile. Hardscape elements include cedar painted fence and bluestone terrace.
Is there a second?
Second.
Dan, how do you vote?
Aye.
Carol, how do you vote?
Aye.
It's an aye for me. Certificate of appropriateness passes 3-0.
I have one question, please, which is the fence. What is, I don't remember the fence. Was that part of the original application, Maggie?
I can't remember if it was on the original application, Chris?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, we didn't.
Oh, okay.
Yep. It's the
All right.
Eggletown by Armstrong. Very
Yeah.
similar to what we just approved.
Okay, and that's gonna be white?
Yes.
Okay, all right, I just wanted to make sure. Thank you.
Do we need to amend the motion?
No.
No? Okay,
I don't
Right.
think so.
that's it. So you got some good news.
Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you.
Oh,
Good luck.
we appreciate it. No, it's
you.
a good process, so we'll let you know when it's done.
All right, that's great. We'll come and tour.
Yes,
That'd be
come to
great.
the tour.
Absolutely.
Exactly. You're welcome to. All right.
Do
Thank you.
Do you mind if I ask how many rooms they counted you at? Did you get over 9?
We did not get a final number.
No final number, just too many.
Yeah.
It was, depends on what your definition of a room is, and I was asking for a definition, and they said there is none. It's just whatever we decide.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that helps. Oh, good.
We'll figure
it out. So,
Yeah.
Yeah. So, all right. Well,
We're
thank
very-
you.
Not what
Very
Tracy
close.
wanted to hear.
Yeah.
We're very
We're
close.
close. We'll get there. We'll get
Yep.
there. So, okay.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Good night, everyone. Thank
Okay,
you.
All right.
So I did send out the minutes for the March meeting very late today. I don't know if anybody had a chance to look at them.
I haven't seen him.
I did not.
You did or did not?
I was not able to, no.
All right, so fine. We'll just pass on that. We'll do it next time.
Okay.
Yeah, Tracy had them. She did both meetings, and so I've just been recalcitrant. That's all I can say.
Overworked, that's what I think. You do so much.
God.
We actually approved quite a bit tonight
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
and stayed on schedule.
Yes, we did. Congratulations. That's great.
All
So, and
right.
Dan is like the
I'm gonna stop
MVP
asking
of,
who wants to make a motion and just look at Dan.
It's his job.
yes, and Dan is the MVP of motions.
Got your minutes.
All right, if there's no other business, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second?
Yes.
All right, and how do you vote?
Aye.
Carol, how do you vote?
I'm starving.
Aye for me.
Me too.
Meeting adjourned.